What's going on, everyone? Gilman with Wellthy Stocks, back with our daily Apple update video where we take a look at how Apple stock traded today, some key support and resistance levels that we have coming up, and based on that, what we think Apple stock could do. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below what your thoughts on Apple are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. So let me hit record and we will get right into it. So Apple is up 69 cents on the day, which is about 0.5%, up another 27 cents in the after hours, which is 0.2%. So, you know, small green day for Apple. If we compare that to the NASDAQ was up real nice at 1.53%. The Dow Jones was up 120 points, which is 0.39%. And then S&P was up $2.95, which is 0.79%. So as you can see from the indexes, great day for technology stocks. And Apple was a little bit behind, pretty much both in, or not all three. I guess that beat Dow, but it was behind the S&P and the NASDAQ. Still, nice green day, small green day. So I'm not going to complain just yet. Google was up nicely, up almost more than 3%, which was $54. Let's see, let's let it load. I don't know why it's taking forever to load. Okay, my apologies for that, guys. I don't know what was going on. I just restarted Webull here, which is what I use for these chartings that you guys see. So let's take a look at how it traded today, and then we'll take a look at future levels of support and resistance that we have coming up. So if you guys remember from my video that I made over the weekend, actually yesterday on Monday, we saw that we were kind of closing near this 126 level. So we had talked about, hey, if we push up, you know, what levels are we looking at? If we push down, what levels we're looking at? And we actually gapped up really nicely. We went from the 126.80s to 129.16, which is more than a $2 jump. But as we see in the pre-market, started coming down all the way to 127s. We saw a push right out of the gate, but it could only go as high as 128.71 before coming back down, and then it was at VWAP, failed VWAP test, went all the way down to 126.94. Tried gathering steam to come up, rejected by VWAP, came down, was able to make it above VWAP, below VWAP here. And then for the second half of the day, it looked relatively strong, right? As we were able to break VWAP, stay above, bounce off VWAP, and then kind of close, right? So not a crazy good day for Apple, but what I do like is that we were above VWAP for the rest of the day after kind of getting up above it midday. So let's take a look at the daily chart, and we'll try to identify some future levels of support and resistance levels for the stock. So let me put the EMAs up for us real quick. So as we could see, you know, we made a lower high, right, and a lower low than Friday. So even though we had a small green day, still made a higher low and, still made a lower high and a lower low. So that's not good. The other thing that I don't like is we were not able to capture either the 8 or the 21 EMA. That's another thing that I don't like. What I do like is we kind of bounced off of this 34 EMA and we stayed above this 126 level, right? So pretty sideways day for Apple, right? Small green day, but overall, you know, pretty sideways. So let's take a look at, you know, what we see, what we have coming up. As you guys know, next week on the 27th is our earnings, which is a week from tomorrow. So that'll be really interesting to see. I think that, you know, there's a couple things we have to consider. The first one being tomorrow is inauguration day, where a lot of people are expecting volatility. Not necessarily saying that it has to go down, but, you know, if we see riots, if we see protests, if we see anything crazy causing uncertainty in the markets, we could see a little bit of a sell-off related to that. So that's something just to kind of keep in mind if you are in, you know, a lot of long positions, to just kind of be mindful of, right? I'm not saying sell everything and kind of wait on the sidelines, right? But just make sure to monitor your positions. So if we do see a little bit of a sell-off tomorrow related to that, related to anything else, what I see as our first level of support is this 34 EMA, which we kind of see held up right there and then a little bit right there. We did dip slightly below it, but, you know, overall it did hold up. That number right now is at 127.26. which isn't too far off, right? That's about an 80-cent drop. So if we see more of a drop, then I'm looking at this 126.68, and then I'm looking at the 55 EMA at 124.67. So those are kind of my three levels that I'm looking at on the downside, right? First one being the 34 EMA 127.26. But, you know, if we do see an actual sell-off, I don't think that's enough. So 126.65 and then the 55 EMA at 124.67. Those are kind of the three levels that I'm looking at on the downside. However, you know, we've talked about this a couple times. I was expecting a run into earnings, and then we've kind of gotten a lot of weakness related to big tech regulations, related to what happened with the Parler app, kind of raising the question of, does big tech have too much power? So that's why we've seen a little bit of weakness, I think a little bit of selling off, but I'm still hopeful that, you know, by the end of this week, we could see that run into earnings, you know, next week, start this week, right? That run to start this week. So if that happens, looking for, you know, first and foremost for us to capture kind of this 21 EMA at 128.80 and the 21 EMA at 128.80 and the 8 EMA at 129, and then make a push towards this 130 level. I think that's a really crucial level for Apple to clear, because it's held up as really good support. And if we're below it, it's acted as pretty good resistance, right? So on the upside, looking at the capture of the 21 and 8 EMA at 128.80 and 129 respectively, which is only about $1 push. So I think that we can definitely do that. And then capture this 130.24 level that we've kind of gotten rejected from a couple of times. Once we do that, you know, I think it clears the way for 133, 136, and then hopefully 138, which is the all-time high, you know, sometime next week with earnings. I'm hopeful that we still get that this week, but I think, you know, the next couple of days are going to be really crucial in determining whether we get that. If we see a little bit of a sell-off, uncertainty around, you know, anything with the inauguration, I think we'll really determine how that plays out. I'm still bullish on Apple, continue to hold my shares. Don't have any options currently other than a vertical put spread. That is doing all right. I've got a couple weeks left on that. Probably going to leave that on for a little bit. So those are my kind of two positions, straight shares and then a vertical put spread. Once I do see a turning around of, you know, this bottom, kind of get confirmation that we are on the way up, the run into earnings has started, I'm probably going to look to put on either a debit spread or a call as a run into earnings, hoping to get out right before earnings so I don't get, you know, crushed with that IV. Again, I think this should be a good quarter for Apple earnings because we're talking about the 5G iPhone being, you know, combined in the same quarter. Typically, the iPhone comes out in September. We get those numbers and then we get the December holiday sales numbers, but this time all combined in one, and it's the first 5G iPhone. So I think I'm hopeful and expecting good numbers, but we'll see how that goes. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe down below. Comment what your thoughts on Apple are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.